So, what does it really mean to be a seeker? It's a title a lot of us might use for ourselves, but what does it actually ask of us? Today, we're diving into an incredible roadmap laid out by the Buddha himself, the Mahāassapurasutta. And trust me, it's a step-by-step guide that shows us the difference between just wanting to be a seeker and actually doing the work. So, picture this. The Buddha gets his followers together, people who are already known as seekers, and he poses this really direct challenge to them. It's the core question of this whole teaching, and it's not just for them, it's for us too. If you call yourself a seeker, what's the actual job description? What's the work you have to do? And this is where he lays it on the line. The title samana, which means seeker or contemplative, it's not just some cool label you can adopt. It's a commitment. It comes with a profound responsibility to actually undergo a very specific kind of training. It's a promise you make to yourself to embody what it truly means to be on this path. Okay, so where does a training like this even begin? Well, the Buddha maps it all out, starting with the absolute basics. And we're not talking about some mystical, far-out states here. We're talking about the foundational, nitty-gritty practices that everything else gets built on. Seriously, without this groundwork, the whole spiritual house just falls apart. It all kicks off with one single, crucial Pali word, hirotapa. Think of this as your inner moral compass. It's that gut feeling of shame when you even think about doing something harmful, and it's a healthy fear of the consequences of doing wrong. For the Buddha, this is the absolute, non-negotiable starting line. You have to cultivate this deep sense of integrity before you can take another step. So once that moral conscience is in place, the path naturally extends to purifying your conduct in four major areas of life. First, your physical actions, then your words, then even your thoughts, and finally, how you make a living. It's a total 360-degree approach to living an ethical life. But here's what's really interesting. After every single one of these steps, the Buddha rings this little warning bell. He says, hey, don't get comfortable. Don't stop here and think you've made it. He's constantly reminding them and us that there is always more to be done. Each achievement is just a stepping stone. Complacency, he's telling us, is the biggest trap on the path. And the groundwork just keeps going. After you purify your conduct, you start to really refine your moment-to-moment awareness. This means things like guarding your senses from being overwhelmed, being moderate and mindful when you eat, staying alert and vigilant, and, this is a big one, developing constant mindfulness of what you're doing and why you're doing it. This is how you sharpen the mind for the really deep work that's coming next. All right, so with that foundation firmly in place, the journey turns inward. We move to the battlefield of the mind. And here, the Buddha points out 5 very specific mental obstacles, the paññā nivarane. And he doesn't just call them problems. He uses a much stronger word. He calls them inner prisons. Let's break down what they are. The first prison is abhijaha, or sensual craving. And the Buddha's analogy for this is just perfect. He says it's like being in debt. Just think about that feeling for a second. The constant weight, the pressure, the feeling that you're never truly free because you always owe something. That, he says, is exactly what craving does to our minds. It's this heavy burden that makes it impossible to feel any real peace. The second prison is vyapada, or ill will. The simile here is being sick. Just like a chronic illness, anger and resentment just drain your energy. They make you weak, and they poison your ability to enjoy anything in life. So overcoming ill will, that's like finally regaining your health and vitality. Then we have the third hindrance, thinamidam. This is that heavy feeling of lethargy, drowsiness, and mental dullness. The Buddha compares this one to literally being in a prison. And it makes sense, right? When your mind is foggy and sluggish, you're trapped. You can't move forward. You can't make an effort. Your potential is just locked away. Escaping this prison is absolutely essential. Next up is uddhacca kukucca, which is a mouthful, I know, but it basically means restlessness and worry. The Buddha's image for this state of mind is being a slave. When your mind is agitated, just jumping from one anxiety to the next, you're not in charge, the mind is. You're its slave, being dragged all over the place with no control over where your own attention goes. And the fifth and final prison is vicikicca, that paralyzing, crippling kind of doubt. This is compared to being hopelessly lost on a dangerous journey through a huge desert. You're scared to go forward, scared to go back, you don't know which path to take, so you just stay stuck, right in the middle of danger. This kind of doubt stops you from ever committing to the path that leads you to safety. So What in the world happens when you finally escape these 5 inner prisons? Well, the Buddha says the mind, now unburdened, naturally settles into these incredibly profound states of joy and concentration. These are the 4 jhanas, or states of absorption, and they're described with some of the most beautiful imagery you'll ever find. The first jhana is this state of pure bliss and happiness that comes from being secluded from those 5 hindrances. The simile is amazing. It's like a skilled bath attendant who kneads soap powder with water until it's a completely saturated ball of foam, soaked through and through, but not dripping a single drop. That's how your entire being just gets pervaded with this wonderful, joyful feeling. As the mind gets even quieter, you move into the second jhana. Here, the joy isn't even connected to initial thoughts anymore. It just bubbles up from deep within. The image is of a deep lake fed only by an underground spring. No water is coming in from the outside. That cool, peaceful joy just arises from its own depths. It's a bliss born of pure, unified concentration. In the third jhana, that more energetic joy settles into a calmer, more serene kind of happiness. The simile for this is a lotus flower that's born, grows, and blossoms entirely underwater, completely saturated from its root to its very tip with cool, clear water. It's a state of deep, peaceful contentment that fills your whole body and mind. And finally, in the fourth jhana, even that subtle happiness fades away, and what's left is perfect equanimity. The mind is utterly pure and bright. The image here is of a person sitting covered from head to toe in a clean white cloth, so that there's not a single part of their body left untouched. That's what this pure, radiant awareness is like. But here's the twist. Even these incredible states of bliss and stillness, they're not the final goal. Not even close. They are the platform. They are the perfectly stable, quiet launchpad. From the profound stillness and clarity of the fourth jhana, the mind becomes like a perfectly calibrated scientific instrument, able to see the true nature of reality without a single distortion. And this leads to the ultimate prize, which has a very specific name, asavanam kayanam. This means the direct, personal knowledge of the complete and total destruction of the asavas. These are the deep-seated mental poisons or corruptions that are the absolute root cause of all our suffering. We're not talking about just managing your problems anymore. This is about uprooting them for good. And to illustrate this final, liberating insight, the Buddha gives us one last, stunningly beautiful simile. He says to imagine you're standing on the bank of a pool of water that's so crystal clear, so perfectly still, that you can look down and see everything at the bottom, every little shell, every piece of gravel, every fish swimming by, exactly, precisely as it is. That is the kind of clarity a free mind has. So this entire incredible journey brings us full circle, right back to the question we started with. What does it actually mean to be a holy one, a true seeker? After laying out this entire detailed path, from basic ethics all the way to profound insight, the Buddha gives his final, definitive answer. He says that a true araham, a worthy one, is simply someone from whom all those harmful, unwholesome qualities are now far, far away. They haven't just been suppressed, they have been quieted, abandoned, and completely uprooted. The seeker's journey, in the end, is a journey of purification. It's about creating a vast, freeing distance between yourself and all the things that cause suffering. And at the end of the day, this ancient text isn't just some historical document. It's a mirror held up to our own lives. The Buddha described craving, anger, laziness, worry, and doubt as prisons of the mind. So looking at your own experience, the question it leaves us with is simple. Which one of those prisons will you start trying to escape from today?